Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to jump right into the heart of the home, the kitchen. We're going to learn all the essential English phrases you need for your daily cooking routine so you can talk about it easily and naturally.
So let me ask you a question. Just think about it for a second. What are the first things you do when you decide you're going to make a meal? We're actually going to walk through those exact steps together and give you the English words for all of it. I find the best way to learn and remember new words is to build a story around them. So that's what we're going to do. We'll follow the whole process, getting the food ready, cooking it, eating, and then, of course, cleaning up. It makes everything so much easier to remember.
Okay, first things first, let's get ready to cook. Before any of the fun stuff can happen, we have to do a little prep work. So let's look at the key actions for this first part of our story. So our prep stage is basically three simple parts. First, we've got to get the food. Second, super important, we wash our hands. And third, we prepare all the ingredients. Let's start with step one, shall we? All right, so where do we start? With the ingredients, of course. And for many of us, that means going to the fridge. The very first action is a simple one. I open the fridge. Okay, the fridge is open. Now what? You reach in and grab what you need, right? The phrase for this is perfect and simple. I take food from the fridge. And once you've got everything you need, there's just one more thing to do. You guessed it. I close the fridge. See that little pattern? Open, take, close. Easy. Now, before we even think about touching that food, there's a really important step. We need to have clean hands. The phrase is, I wash my hands. Let's say that one again. It's a good one. I wash my hands. So our hands are clean and our ingredients are out on the counter. It's time to get them ready. What's a really common tool we're going to need? A knife. So we can say, I use a knife. And what are we going to do with that knife? Well, we cut things. So the phrase is, I cut vegetables. See how these sentences just build on each other? I use a knife so I can cut vegetables. It just makes sense. Okay, here's another great, really specific verb for you. For things like potatoes or carrots, you often have to take the skin off first. We don't say cut the skin, we say peel. So, I peel the potatoes. Fantastic. All right, the prep work is all done. Now we get to move on to the main event, actually making the meal. Let's get cooking. We can't really cook without some heat, can we? So the very first thing we have to do is get our stove going. The phrase for this is, I turn on the stove. That's a really useful one. Once the stove is on, our main goal is pretty simple, right? I heat the food. This is a great general term you can use for almost any kind of cooking you're doing. Okay, heating is a good word, but let's get a little more specific. Frying is a particular way to cook something. So for a classic breakfast, you would probably say, I fry eggs. Here's another action you'll do all the time. If you're making a soup or maybe a sauce, you can't just let it sit there. You have to move it around with a spoon. You have to stir it. So the full sentence is, I stir the soup. And when all the cooking is done, what's the last thing we need to do? Well, we do the exact opposite of what we did at the start. I turn off the stove. Gotta be safe. Let's just pause here for a second because this is so important. Look at these two opposite actions. Turn on to start and turn off to stop. This is a super useful pair of phrases you can use for almost any machine, not just the stove. Can you smell that? That delicious smell is filling the whole kitchen. The cooking is done, and now it's time for the absolute best part, serving, and eating. But hold on, before you put it on a plate for everyone, every good cook does a little quality check first. It's a really important step. It tastes the food. Is it perfect? Does it need a little something else? So after you taste it, you might think, it needs a little something extra. This is when you adjust the flavor. You can say, I add salt, or maybe I add pepper, whatever it needs. And now, at last, the moment we've all been working for. We finally get to enjoy our meal. I eat breakfast in the kitchen. And of course, you can swap breakfast for lunch or dinner. Ah, that was delicious. But our kitchen story isn't quite finished yet. Now comes the part that's maybe not as fun, but just as important, the final cleanup. Okay, here are 2 more actions that go together perfectly. First, you get them clean with soap and water. I wash the dishes. And then you get them ready to put away. I dry the dishes. 2 different but related steps. We're almost there. The dishes are all done. The very last thing to do to get the kitchen looking great again is to wipe everything down. So our final phrase in his whole routine is, I clean the table. And just like that, our kitchen is back to the way we started. And there you have it. We've walked through an entire kitchen routine, all the way from getting ready and cooking to eating and cleaning up. You now have the basic phrases to talk about all of it. So, I guess there's only one question left to ask you. Using your new English words, what will you cook today?